A court order and a detainer for a guy who did the things Mr. Hernandez did, and Tompkins County can't hold him an hour and 18 minutes, and you won't say that's wrong?
I have said we cooperate when there's a criminal case where someone has committed a crime. We turn them over.
This is sanctuary policy in a nutshell. You won't even condemn something that anyone with common sense knows is ridiculous.
You're mischaracterizing the
Chair.
laws of the state
I
of
had the
New York.
facts here.
That's
Can I do one other thing, Mr. Chairman? Now he's been rearrested, and guess what? This guy who's now been rearrested, there is imminent danger that this inmate will do injury to himself and to others and presents a threat to safety, security, and good order of the facility, so he's not permitted to leave his cell. So this guy's not even allowed out of his cell, but they let him out on the street a few months ago. That's how ridiculous this is.
When he does leave his cell.
Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan sharply questioned New York Governor Kathy Hochul over a single case, but what unfolded was really a broader argument about sanctuary policies and who ultimately bears responsibility when cooperation between local governments and federal immigration authorities breaks down.
Governor Hochul, third paragraph, second sentence in your written testimony, you said New York State cooperates with U.S. Immigration Customs Enforcement in criminal cases. Governor, who's Jesus Romero Hernandez?
Thank you. I want to reaffirm that we do cooperate in cases where.
That wasn't the question. I just read your statement. I can read your statement. Who is Jesus Romero Hernandez?
I don't have the details on every single person in a state of 20 million people.
I understand, but this guy's a citizen of Mexico, deported 7 times, came to your state, assaulted one of your residents with a machete, choked a police officer, then when he was in custody, assaulted a corrections officer. ICE finds out this guy is in your state's custody, and they send you a detainer. You're familiar with a detainer, right?
Yes, I am.
Notice of action, immigration detainer to Tompkins County Jail from Syracuse Immigrations and Customs Enforcement. Section 1, they check a couple boxes. The first one they check is a final order of removal against the alien has taken place. That means a court has said this guy needs to go. This machete-wielding, cop-choking, corrections officer assaulting guy needs to go. Then they also check another box and they say biometric confirmation of who this individual is, this alien's identity. So they got the right guy, and a court has said he needs to go. Any idea what Tompkins County Jail decided to do with that detainer order?
I will tell you this, the state of...
It's a specific question.
Well,
what did Tompkins County do?
The descriptions you have put forth are absolutely chilling and disturbing and reprehensible to all of us. My job is to protect the people of New York.
Which is why I'm asking the question. What did Tompkins County do?
What I have responsibility for.
I will tell you, since you're not going to answer.
Courts,
we cannot and will not hold Mr. Hernandez.
Yeah.
We can't keep the machete guy who had choked a police officer and assaulted a corrections officer. We can't keep him. In fact, we have the back and forth from Tompkins County and ICE on January 28th of this year, 8:56 p.m. Tompkins County tells ICE, we're not going to hold this guy. 7 minutes later, ICE responds back, we will be there to take custody this evening. 24 minutes later, Thompson County reiterates, we're not going to have him. We're not going to turn him over. 10:45. ICE arrives at the jail. 1 hour and 18 minutes later, and guess what? Mr. Hernandez is not there. They couldn't wait 1 hour and 18 minutes for a guy who assaulted one of your residents with a machete, choked a police officer, and then when in custody, assaulted corrections officers. That is sanctuary policy in a nutshell, and that is what your state supports, and so do these other governors. That is what is so wrong, why the American people hate this concept.
You're conflating what the state of New York does is I control state police and prisons. We have turned over 1,300 people.
So you disagree with it?
We turn over 1,300 people.
Did the sheriff make the wrong call?
Those are local policies that we would not have done in the state of New York. State of New York, that is a local decision. So you're saying the sheriff's wrong? I would say this, if it happened in a state prison, we have already turned over 1,300 people.
Sheriff in Tompkins County, a Democrat or Republican, Governor?
There have been times, excuse me.
The sheriff in Thompson County, a Democrat or Republican?
Excuse me. There have been times.
I ask the questions, you give the answer. Is he a Democrat or Republican? Do you know?
I'm asking for this moment to explain that I'm sometimes waiting for ICE to come pick up people. Is he a Democrat or Republican, and do you agree with the actions he took? Do you agree with the actions he took? How about that question? They are in conflict with what the state of New York would do. Well, maybe they're scared. By the way, he is a Democrat sheriff. Maybe the county guys are a little scared because you said this. I'm quoting from, it looks like the New York Times.
We all know you can trust them. This is last month, May 25th. You said we have some counties that are renegade counties and work with ICE. Maybe they're nervous of being called a renegade county by their governor. So the Democrat sheriff says, we're not going to keep the machete-wielding, cop-choking, corrections officer assaulting guy. We're not going to keep him here for you to get here. We can't even wait an hour and 18 minutes. Oh, you know what else was interesting in this case? You know what else was interesting? There was actually an arrest warrant from United States District Court, Northern District of New York, signed by Judge Wiley Danks, magistrate from Syracuse. There was an arrest warrant, and they still couldn't keep him.
The state of New York cooperates. We cooperate in removal of individuals who've served time. We responded to detention. You're confusing, and maybe there's a lesson in civics here that's necessary.
Will you say on the record, right here, I got 12 seconds, will you say on the record, was Tompkins County wrong in the actions they took on January 25th, 2025, when they wouldn't hold the guy for 1 hour and 18 minutes?
Those are not the policies that we would have in the state of New York. Those are not the policies we would have in a
Were they wrong? Should they have turned that guy over to ICE? It's a simple question, Governor.
That was a horrible situation. The person should not have been out there.
It's a horrible situation, but it's a yes or no question.
It is a response that this is a locality.
Do you agree or disagree?
In the state of New York, the person
disagree?
should have been held.
Yes or no?
The person should have been held, and in the state of New York, we would have turned him over. That is in conflict with what we would do as a state with respect to prison. And I want to know why ICE won't come and pick up the individuals who have served time in our state. I have cases where they have not even shown
Governor,
up.
a court order and a detainer for a guy who did the things Mr. Hernandez did, and Tompkins County can't hold him an hour and 18 minutes, and you won't say that's wrong?
I have said we cooperate when there's a criminal case where someone has committed a crime. We turn them over.
This is sanctuary policy in a nutshell. You won't even condemn something that anyone with common sense knows is ridiculous.
You're mischaracterizing the
Chair,
laws of the state
I had
of
the
New York.
facts here.
That's
Can I do one other thing, Mr. Chairman? Now he's been rearrested, and guess what? This guy who's now been rearrested, there is imminent danger that this inmate will do injury to himself and to others and presents a threat to safety, security, and good order of the facility, so he's not permitted to leave his cell. So this guy is not even allowed out of his cell, but they let him out on the street a few months ago. That's how ridiculous this is.
When he does leave his cell, we go back to his country under our orders for deportation.
Chair recognizes Mr. Mfume, and I'll...
Jordan centered his questioning on one man, Jesus Romero Hernandez, a Mexican national who, according to federal records, had been deported 7 times before returning to the United States. While in New York, Hernandez was accused of assaulting a resident with a machete, choking a police officer, and later assaulting a corrections officer while in custody. These details were not disputed during the hearing. The congressman's focus was narrow but deliberate. He cited a formal ICE detainer sent to the Tompkins County Jail, noting that it checked 2 critical boxes: a final order of removal issued by an immigration court and biometric confirmation of the individual's identity. In plain terms, Jordan argued, the federal government had verified who Hernandez was and had legal authority to remove him. What made the case explosive was the timeline. According to emails Jordan read into the record, Tompkins County informed ICE that it would not hold Hernandez. ICE responded within minutes, saying agents were on their way and would arrive that same evening. Despite that, the county reiterated its refusal to hold him. When ICE arrived roughly an hour later, Hernandez was gone. Jordan framed this as a textbook example of sanctuary policy in action, arguing that a dangerous individual was released despite federal authorities being moments away from taking custody. He pressed Hochul repeatedly on a simple question: was the county wrong to release him? Governor Hochul's response revealed the gray area at the center of this debate. She acknowledged that the situation was disturbing and that, at the state level, New York does cooperate with ICE in criminal cases. She pointed out that state prisons and state police routinely transfer individuals with final removal orders, citing more than 1,000 such transfers. But she also drew a line between state authority and local decision-making. Tompkins County, she explained, made its own call, one that does not reflect what the state itself would have done. When pressed further, Hochul ultimately said that in the state system, the person should have been held and would have been turned over. That moment mattered. It was the closest the governor came to agreeing with Jordan's core criticism, even while resisting his broader characterization of New York as hostile to immigration enforcement. Jordan, however, used her earlier remarks to suggest local officials may feel pressure not to cooperate with ICE, citing comments where counties that work closely with federal authorities were described as renegade. He argued that fear of political backlash can override public safety, leaving dangerous gaps in enforcement. What viewers should understand is that immigration detainers are requests, not mandates, unless accompanied by a judicial warrant. Many local governments decline to honor them over legal liability concerns. Supporters say this protects civil liberties. Critics argue it creates real-world risks when violent offenders are released before federal agents can act. This hearing laid bare the consequences of that tension. Months after his release, Hernandez was rearrested and is now classified by jail officials as a serious safety threat, reportedly confined to his cell due to concerns he could harm himself or others. That fact fueled Jordan's argument that the initial release was not just a policy disagreement, but a public safety failure. At its core, this exchange was less about one governor or one county and more about the unresolved question facing the country. Who is responsible when federal immigration enforcement depends on local cooperation, and that cooperation does not happen? If you want clear, contextual breakdowns of moments like this that go beyond the sound bites and help you understand what's really at stake, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We break down the hearings, the policies, and the real-world consequences so you don't just watch the news, you understand it.